Hi guys, this is Michaela Wardeman. For my resource walkthrough, I am going to be focusing on the 5th grade Nebraska Math Standard 5.3 for geometry, which students will communicate geometric concepts and measurement concepts using multiple representations to reason, solve problems, and make connections within mathematics and across disciplines. And then in particular, it's going to be the Standard 5.3.3, which is for measurement. Students will perform and compare measurements and apply formulas, and then in particular it's going to be 5.3.3a and b, where they're dealing with volume and then being able to measure the volume of prisms in cubic units and by counting those cubic units. For my resource then, I went with the 3-Act Task by Graham Fletcher. I found this resource to be very helpful. It has 3 sections really that focus on probably what we would use the most on this website. The first one I want to focus on, which I would come to the most for myself, is the 3-Act Tasks. And then there's a whole spreadsheet here of different grade levels and what it's working on in that grade level. If I go down to 5th grade, which is my focus, and then find volume, there are 3 engagement activity ideas for me to use as a teacher with my students. I'll go ahead and click on a couple of them here and show you guys. This first one is Got Cubes. So what they're doing is they're given a little clear box. I have a clear box like this and I have thumbtacks in it, so maybe you have something like that in your own classroom, and they're using little building blocks to estimate how many they think would fill the volume of this clear container. And then it just gives you ideas and different ways to go through this with your students after that. And you can download the whole task to have access to it. If I go back to that spreadsheet, there's another one for volume. This one is Packing Sugar. So for this one, they have a nice little video showing me what they're going to do. It's short and they don't have any words. They're talking about estimating how many sugar cubes are in this box of sugar cubes. And they have questions you can ask your students, like what do you notice, what do you wonder, how are they packed, the dimensions of the box, and all of these 3-act tasks have 3 acts, so like 3 parts to them to work through. And then there was one more for volume here, which is overflow. So this activity was giving that clear container again, and this time they are dumping water into it, and then they are estimating how many blocks it takes to be able to make the water overflow. I can kind of show you what this looks like. So they've dumped the water into it, and then they're going to have some cubes that they're going to put into it to see how many it takes for it to overflow. So it gives you an idea of what the task is, questions to ask again, and then some other items to use within that, like the dimensions of the box and other resources you would need to do the activity. This was probably my favorite part of this website just because it had very relevant activities to use in my classroom. I would definitely come to this website to get ideas to use to help engage my students a little bit more and get more hands-on activities for math. Sometimes I think I struggle finding hands-on activities for math all the time and finding the resources for that. But I felt like these ones for volume that I looked at in particular were great to use. If I go back to the home page, they also have progression videos and some fresh ideas. There was nothing in volume for me for either one of those for my topic for today, but the progression videos kind of give you an idea of how a child should progress through something like addition throughout their time in school and how their thought processes work and how their strategies should change. And then the fresh ideas are just some lesson ideas and some teaching resources that you could use for different topics as well. There's not as many resources in either one of these. This one had the majority of the resources and probably the one I would go to the most in my classroom to get fresh ideas for hands-on activities to engage my students in math.